entry line number 1 will be the Oversiway. Now, the entry we're going to use into the Oversiway will be the first 3 steps of a Viennese cross. We'll then dance the Oversiway, and then we will collect into promenade position for our exit. We'd now like to demonstrate it for you to music. And then I'd like to go over the man's foot positions. So gentlemen, let's say that we have finished our first 3 steps of a Viennese cross where your right foot is free, stepping back on your right foot, back left, swiveling and turning side, pointing the right foot as I flex down into my left leg. I collect to my right foot as I step to the side, left foot brushing to right foot, stepping forward on my left. And now for your footwork, we have, starting with the right foot, toe, heel, pointing the right foot to the toe, collecting to the side on the right foot, toe, heel, up, brushing, coming out, toe, heel. And now for your technique. Gentlemen, in leading the Oversiway, what I'd like you to focus on is keeping your center or your belt buckle towards the lady as long as possible. So I have back right, back left. So you'll see that in this pointing position, before I actually change weight, my center is still facing the lady. What's very common with men in terms of anticipating the Oversiway itself is as they step back on their right foot, they'll turn to the side too early and we'll have the lady slide past us, shifting our body position. So we want to feel that as we step back from right foot to left foot, that we're allowing the lady to dance through our center. And that way, when we transfer weight, we'll swivel the lady to a sideward position as she will swivel her foot. Now, from this position, we want to think about using our base, body, and then head. So what will happen from this position is that I'm going to focus on lowering first. So as I lower, my hips are changing angle, shaping to my right. Okay, so as I lower, then my body starts to stretch through a diagonal to my right, and then my head will be the very last thing that goes into place for the Oversiway. I'll try that from a different angle. So again, my entrance, I step back on my right foot, back left, I hold my center to the lady as long as possible as I transfer weight to my left foot. It'll then swivel side. Again, I'm going to focus on my base action first, lowering first, changing the angle of the hip because we want to sway to our right, and I will stretch through a diagonal through my left side, my head being the very last thing to go into place for the actual Oversiway itself. Now, in talking about the head position, gentlemen, I'd like you to focus on the head being the same angle as your spine. So if I can dance it from a different angle, so as I step back onto my left foot, going side, you'll see my head is lined up with my body. As I lower through my legs, then the body, and then the head, the final position, you'll see that my head is lining up with my spine. Now from this position, I'm going to transfer weight to my right foot, collecting the lady to her left foot, and then from here we dance into our promenade position. And I'd like Heather to show us the ladies' part.
And now the ladies' foot positions for this figure. As Victor has already mentioned, we're going to take it from after the first 3 steps of the Viennese cross. So the lady is in a forward position. We're going to step forward on the left foot, right foot forward, swiveling to a side position, left foot is pointed to the side, just a partial weight inside edge of foot. Left foot will then replace, right foot brushes to left foot, and right foot dances out in promenade position. And now the footwork. We have forward on the left foot with a heel, forward right foot toe swiveling, left foot inside edge of toe, left foot toe, right foot brushes to left foot toe, right foot out, toe heel. And now for the ladies' technique. What I'm trying to think about, ladies, on this figure is because the man is in a backing position, I am going to lower through my standing leg, step forward on my left foot, and from this position I'm going to be very, very conscious of where the man's body is. The biggest mistake that the lady makes on this next step is to try and wrap her body around the man's position to try and get an early exit into that position. And what I'm trying to focus on very strongly is, as I've stepped forward, I'm focused on still keeping the man in front of me. So I am still driving through the man's body at this point. As I swivel, my feet and base swivel, but I'm trying not to get my shoulders immediately parallel with my hips. My body is still forward at this point. Now from here, as Victor will then shape my body into a position, what I'm trying to do is relax the weight into the legs and develop the arc and the curve through my body. So what I don't want you to do, ladies, is completely twist the shoulders off the hips. This will cause a lot of stress in the lower back area. Once we've achieved this position, I'm going to step forward and swivel and turn only through my feet for promenade position. And one of the things I like to also keep a focus on, ladies, when I'm dancing a picture line like this, is that the elbows always must remain in front of the hips. Don't try and, when you're developing a shape, physically pull the man towards you. Always allow for the arms to belong to the man and stay very, very relaxed at all times. And now I'd like to invite Victor back with me, and we'll go over some more of the finer details in position together.
Now, in discussing the technique together, we'll go from, again, the first 3 steps of our Viennese cross we've completed. Now, gentlemen, as I've said earlier, we want to try and keep our centers towards the lady as we take that step back on our left foot, preparing to swivel. Now, in this process, as Heather has mentioned to the ladies in terms of giving the arms to the man from the lady's perspective, we also want to be very careful not to use our arms to pull the lady to us. So try to feel that your weight is over your own feet. They will be connected to your center. There's no need to use your arms to pull them, because if we do that, they're not only going to be pulled off balance, but their heads and bodies will cut across our body line, and of course we'll lose our counterbalance. So in stepping back on the left foot, keep the ladies over their own feet by giving them your arms, and think about just placing yourself, okay? Leaving your center towards the lady. So we go back, back, I swivel. Now from this position, again, we're going to lower first and change the angle of the hip for the sway. So a mistake that men make quite often is the first thing they think of is that they have to rotate. That is going to put the lady too far across the man's center, and it's going to put a lot of pressure in the lady's base of the back. So the first thing we want to think of entering the Oversight is we lower, change angle through the hip. You'll notice if we lift our arm over, we're stretching with my left side, the lady's right side, getting a strong sway, and as we finish that swaying action, we are going to add the rotation at that point. So we want to be careful that the rotation does not begin too early, because it'll put the lady in the wrong position. Okay, so we'll try that again. So we lower, change the angle, rotate, and then you'll see our heads are the very last position going into this line.
And just one more thing I'd like to add for the ladies' technique here when dancing this line is be very, very conscious of your abdominal muscles, because one of the things that quite often we tend to do sometimes in creating a shape when we're trying to get more extension, quite often the ladies start to lower from the wrong area in the back. And what happens is, I'm going to demonstrate this because this is one of the common faults that Victor and I come across quite regularly, is the ladies undercut the man, and so what happens, it causes the man to tip. So I'm just going to demonstrate, when you want more extension, don't jam the hips and don't let the lower abdominal muscles go. So this is, we don't want to have this position when we're going into it, is where we undercut the man and then he actually can't shape at all. Okay, so very, very conscious of the abdominal muscles, thinking about the internal center, releasing the arms to the man and keeping the joints as relaxed as possible. So we'll demonstrate it correctly for you again.
Now, in exiting the Oversiway, what I'm going to do, gentlemen, because I need to be able to get the lady to her left foot, I'm going to maintain my shape, transferring weight to my right foot in a sideward position, and then, of course, that gets her on her foot, and then we transition to promenade position. So we like to demonstrate that for you at a different angle, so you can see the entry into the Oversiway and the exit. So you'll notice we back into it, gentlemen. From here we swivel. You can see we're changing angle through the hip, then the body swing, then the rotation. We collect side, and then we simply transfer to promenade position. Now, we have used the very basic timing of waltz, and we'll go from our Viennese cross just for our waltz timing, which would have been 01, 2, 3, 01, 2, 3, 01, 2, 3, 01, 2, 3. Now, of course, we have many different dances, so if we were going to change the action, let's say in tango, let's say we finished our Viennese cross, we're going to go quick, quick, slow, recover, slow. And if you'll notice that the action became much sharper, we still use the base, body, and head technique, but as you can see, the characteristic of that dance would change. And of course, if we have any type of slow, quick, quick action, we would have quick, quick, slow, 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 quick, quick. So you can use many different timings, but those are just an illustration of a few basic timings. And that is your Oversiway.